Horses want to roam and run and gaze, and when they can't express that innate nature, their behavior and focus goes away and they start to act out. So just like a guy that's in jail, for example, they pace to appease this inner pain inside of them of being denied a true real life. Should we reevaluate the way that we live? There is no denying that we all universally agree that something is wrong.
Look at this beautiful partial beach view room. This should probably a good $400. How did access to seeing the water, which actually calms our nervous system, is something we need, that level of relaxation, it actually keeps us alive longer. How did something like that become $400?
But what is the true core to why we live like this? Is it social media or the quick evolving technologies? Or was it all just one big huge mistake that we just didn't see coming, that we just ended up this way? The evolution of the internet and technology as a whole has been one of, if not the most dramatic change to ever happen to the human race, and it has grown at a rapidly fast pace. I can only define the internet as a blessing and a curse to mankind, because 100 years ago we would only dream of having this amount of access to information that we have today. Okay, then say that we could somehow travel back in time and tell these humans from 100 years ago what we've achieved. We have access to all the information all over the world at any time, anywhere. Wow, that's amazing. Everyone must be so educated. Well, yeah, okay, so maybe they wouldn't be that impressed. Okay, so do you remember the town that I showed you earlier in the video? The town that can only be described as a hyper-commercialized pit stop, shaped entirely by profit-driven interests designed to trap people in just this cycle of consumption? Well, what if I told you you had that same town at your own fingertips? Because if you think about it, that's what social media is. You know that these platforms are designed to keep you on them for as long as your attention holds to, and you know it's for one reason and one reason only: for their own profit. Is the modern world we live in designed the way it is for the same reason? For sole profit. Yet, social media isn't our enemy here, and neither are its creators. They're just doing their part in contributing to an already existing system that was stemmed long before the birth of the internet: greed. At its core, greed can stem from the instinct to survive, the drive to guarantee safety for you and your family, or in some cases, just for yourself. Hoarding resources was once necessary to ensure survival through harsh conditions, but as societies formed and humanity evolved, the want for more stuck with us. The evidence is in how societies and structures were built, like the Roman Empire and European colonism, all guilty of social conditioning, all guilty of creating these hierarchies and these class structures. And this is all in an attempt to keep power in the hands of just a few. And though with centuries of evidence that these systems have failed and have fallen over and over again, its left legacy has created a culture of its own, deeming this way of life normal and becoming a staple to how societal structures are being run today, going from hoarding resources to survive to completely unbalancing the pedestal. Being greedy was no longer just to meet the basic needs to feel secure, but to live in comfort, even if it meant that others wouldn't. Almost like an act of fear. But let's dig deeper. Greed couldn't just be a byproduct of survival or social comfort. Why? Because everything that I have mentioned thus far, the survival instincts and the social structures, have all just been proof of historical patterns, but not its origin. So that answers the question that yes, greed has always been there, but where does it truly originate from? Why are we even capable of it? Why are we capable of greed? And to answer this question, we have to go back, way back, in the beginning, where it said that the God of all and all existence created the first two humans in his image, meaning that the image of God reflects in our moral, spiritual, and intellectual nature. These first two humans were named Adam and Eve. As the first humans to ever exist, surrounded by this new world, it was creation at its purest form. They had everything that they ever needed, meaning that there was no greed or selfishness or need to hoard resources or belittle each other. They lived harmoniously with the world as it was. And on top of that, they even got to live alongside the Creator who gave it to them all. It is said that the creation that is man is unique among all of God's creations because we were given the ability to choose how we will behave, meaning that we can choose how to respond to the world around us. We can choose how to respond to the Creator who gave it to us all, to serve Him or not, or to eat from the forbidden tree or not. The choice is ours. And so, in this world of harmonious living and no sin, God also placed a tree of knowledge of good and evil in the garden, instructing Adam and Eve not to eat from it. And if you're familiar with the story, you know that Adam and Eve disobeyed that instruction, bringing sin into the world for the very first time, also known as the fall of man. And this is the all-powerful, all-knowing God that we're talking about. So why give Adam and Eve the choice to destroy themselves? Because love cannot exist without choice. The Bible tells us that God loves us infinitely and perfectly, but as His creation, true love cannot be forced. Without the ability to choose, there is no real devotion, no genuine relationship. And these choices wouldn't be meaningful if there wasn't a real consequence, a real contrast between good and evil. Because while we have the power to be greediest, to hate, to kill, and to destroy, we also have the power to share, to love, to build, and to seek truth. Just like there wouldn't be good days without bad days. Just like there wouldn't be joy without suffering, or light without darkness. The very existence of what is good is only fully understood when it is measured against what is not. And in that, God gave us the greatest gift, not just the ability to choose, but the ability to choose Him. So, there it is. I feel like that's the deepest that I can go to find the core to why society is the way that it currently is, how we ended up this way. I didn't want to leave you guys with this feeling of despair, this feeling that you're not able to do anything. Because if anything, I feel like this video has proof that you can do everything and anything to go against what is happening right now in society. Because you have the choice, and that independence is a huge contribution to the better of us, to the better of a new world, to the better of a current world. 3 truths can exist at the same time. That the world is awful. That the world can be so much better. And that the world is the best that it's ever been.